Okay, this is a follow-up to a video I did last week about the Mount Vernon Public Library. They had a special meeting on May 30th. The public portion of the meeting was not available at the time that I made that last video. They had left the Zoom feed on, so we had access to the portion of the meeting that was held, so they thought, in private as the executive session. So the video just that I put out last week just had the executive session, but now I'm going to tie it together with the public portion. I'm going to specifically focus on what appears to be the Board of Trustees violation of the open meeting laws. So we're going to just walk through the video, the public portion of the video, and then the executive session, the points of interest at this time. So let me share my screen. Okay, we're going to focus on the reason they gave for entering executive session. So this is May 30th. The first thing I want to draw attention to is Trustee Maribel is going to say that she thinks the bylaws are fine. And Trustee Coleman, here you'll see her nod in agreement. So let's watch that.
I think what we need to, I think that with the bylaws, I think are fine. The bylaws is
okay, so there they are saying the bylaws are fine. Next, we're going to see Trustee Coleman just say she wants to go into executive session. And this time, so Trustee Coleman is going to say she wants to go into executive session. Trustee Maribel is going to nod in agreement. By the way, I believe Trustee Coleman, who's the president of the board, and Trustee Maribel are related. It's my understanding that they're cousins.
I don't want to have a long meeting, so I do want to go in executive session. So.
Next, we're going to jump to minute 1433 of the meeting. And here we're going to see Trustee Coleman say she wants to go in executive session to discuss the bylaws. Trustee Maribel is going to question whether they can, if that's a reason to go in executive session. Trustee Coleman is going to say yes. So let's listen to that.
Trustee Coleman.
Yes, I would like to go in executive session because I want to bring up something about the bylaws.
Okay. But
Yes.
I'm curious as to, is that a subject that we can legally go into executive session about? It is?
Yes.
So now we're going to go to the end of the meeting. Let's go to minute 1835. Here we're going to see Trustee Coleman ask, can we go into executive session? Trustee Maribel will make the motion to do it, and she's going to say that it's to talk about the bylaws, and she adds this bit about there might be some reason they'll end up in court about the bylaws. And I guess that's what they're using, this litigation angle, as the reason why they need to go behind closed doors to discuss the bylaws. And you'll hear Trustee Coleman say exactly. But just remember, the first little clip we looked at was where Trustee Maribel saying the bylaws are fine. So I'm not quite sure I understand that, but listen, let's listen up.
Can we go in executive session?
I'll make a motion to go into executive
Thank
session.
you.
And I second it.
Thank you.
Well, I'm so sorry. We have to be a little bit more specific because we are in a public meeting.
Yes.
Trustee Matt, I will make a motion to go into executive session to speak on the bylaws for an issue that could that could end up in court.
Exactly.
Okay, we're going to pick up now with a section of the video that I released from last week, which is from the executive session. So what happens is they go into executive session, but they forgot to turn the Zoom video feed off. And as a result, the whole thing was videotaped, and a heads up member of the public meeting got it, turned on their cell phone camera and took that video. That was released on the Employees Union Facebook page. I got a hold of that. I think it's subsequently been removed from the page, but I took it and I was able to make that video where we got a look at what they did. What we'll learn is they didn't actually talk about the bylaws at all in that meeting. So we're going to pick up with this portion of the video that I made last week on that. All right, first we're going to hear from Jonathan Davis regarding the reason given to the public to go into executive session.
Okay. Now, we went to executive session under the pretense of discussing bylaws.
So he says, we went into executive session under the pretense of discussing bylaws. Next, he's going to specifically ask, are we going to discuss the bylaws? So we'll hear him ask that question, and then we'll hear Shanice Coleman, who is the current president of the Board of Trustees, flat out say no. So let's listen.
Well, are we going to discuss the bylaws?
No, that's going to be done in our next work session.
Just listen to that one more time. You'll hear Jonathan Davis say, are we going to discuss the bylaws? And Trustee Coleman says no.
We're just discussing.
Well, are we going to discuss the bylaws?
No, that's going to be done in our next work session.
Okay, so that seems like a pretty clear violation of the New York open meeting laws. There are only a handful of reasons why you can go into an executive session. It sounded like they were reaching to find a reason to go behind closed doors by saying we need to talk about the bylaws, and then there might be some litigation, using that as the pretext for going into executive session. Even though we heard Trustee Marable say that the bylaws were fine, and then we know that they didn't actually discuss the bylaws when they went into executive session. As I showed in another video I released, what they did essentially was gossip about employees. It sounded like gossip to me. There was a lot of chatter back and forth, but you could hear some very unflattering terms used to describe an employee with a disability. So yeah, this seems like a pretty problematic occurrence.